All right, guys.
We're back.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Happy Monday.
Market Mondays.
Yes.
Ian fighting through illness.
Yep. Flu game.
Facts. Well, you know, we're gonna get it done.
Shall not prosper.
For sure. A lot to talk about. End of the year, projections, predictions, the whole nine. We got a special guest, Caleb Silver, joining us later on in the show. And man, we got a lot to cover, man. So before we start, definitely wanted to blackout. We have blackout Wednesday at 10 o'clock. Make sure you check that out. And then we got a special episode of Earn Your Leisure this Thursday. Hold up. Did you ever decide what you're gonna do? Just class?
I moved it.
We got a special episode of Earn Your Leisure this Thursday at 6 o'clock with one of the greatest lyricists of all time, Common.
Chi-Town, what up?
Yes, shout out to Common, Chicago's very own.
Sal. And
not just the lyricist, actor, legendary actor. You know, Fat Joe actually told a story about how he was heavy how Common was heavy in real estate in the 90s.
Yep.
Facts.
In Chicago. Of course, you know,
author.
Yeah, author. When you talk about Kanye West, that's definitely part of the Kanye West legacy. As far as him really getting back to the roots, Kanye getting back to his roots of that era. You know, he definitely had to tap in with Common and Pusha T and a few other people, but you know, that meant a lot for the city when Common came back under Kanye West.
That was a time. That
So,
good music era. Common, John Legend, the early John Legend. That B album.
Album was fire, yo.
Yeah. Save Room, all that.
Shout out to Chicago. But yeah, and then he's also, I think he got nominated for a Grammy for his new album with Pete Rock.
He did. Yep. He is.
So still putting out music, still doing it.
And he won an Oscar.
Yeah, for sure. So
he won an Oscar for Selma. The sound,
sure did, yeah.
Right? The song for Selma.
Shout out to Common, man. So that episode is just a dope episode. We talk about a lot of different stuff in that episode. So that comes out 6 o'clock on Thursday. And yeah, tap in with that for sure.
What was the biggest lesson you took from, or one of, because I don't want to bury the lead, but one of the gems you took away from the interview so that they check in and tune into it on Thursday?
Just his ability to reinvent himself, stay relevant over the years, and you know that was something that I asked him about, and it's not something that he necessarily did on purpose, but he was just saying that you know you gotta be open to new ideas, you gotta be open to new things that's happening, because a lot of people, he came out, I think he came out in like 94, 95.
94.
So, you know, you're looking at that's 30 years.
Nobody, they don't do that.
So very, very few people have that longevity. So, you know, it says a lot to be able to withstand the test of times, deal with, you know, from physical selling CDs to streaming music, being able to adapt not only musically, culturally, you got to be able to adapt business wise as well. So yeah, just his ability to be able to adapt and his ability to be able to pivot in different genres. So like he talked about how he made the switch from rapping to acting at a certain point. And that's important too, because it's like, you know, you need to diversify, because if you're just doing just a one trick pony, that's not going to be successful long term.
It's crazy. I think one of the most important things, you'll hear it in the interview, but prior to starting the interview, is his graciousness. Like we were talking about the music, and the way he responded was like, yo, I really appreciate that. I was telling him like what B meant, and at the time how classic that was, and how that, you know, that stands the test of time. And I spoke to him about his book. Like that was one of the first books I had read from somebody in the hip hop genre. And I was like, yo, it was so dope. I didn't even know that, you know, your mom was a teacher. And the way he responded was like, yo, that's really dope that you actually read it. And to hear his graciousness, he talks about the acting, he talks about what it's meant to him. Even now, having the new album with Pete Rock, and y'all should check it out. It's really a dope album. He still has that humility, right? So like everything you ever hear about him, his graciousness, how humble he is, he's really down to earth. Like you see it in real life, and it comes through on the interview. So definitely check it out. It's one of the ones.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Good dude.
Sure. So check that out. Ian, any announcements?
Yeah, Stock Club call will be tonight after Market Mondays. So join us tonight. I'll be going over how to prompt a little bit for investing. And if you want to get rich from investing in the market, go to ianinvest.com. Put in chat what percentages you're up for the year as a result of listening. If I've made you money, please put yes in chat. Let's have an amazing show. And I appreciate y'all.
Numbers
I ain't get the all black memo. You know what I mean?
Numbers on the board. Numbers are definitely on the board.
Thanks.
Shout out to the team.
Disclosure?
Yeah, y'all know how this works, man. This is a disclaimer. Do your own research. Do your own research. Our content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you find on our show and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. You know how this works. Do the research, share the research. When it's good research, give credit to the people. Let's make some money together, man. There's nothing better than watching people see their lives change financially. So shout out to everybody in Red Panda. Shout out to everybody in EY University. Some people that starting. We're seeing it more and more. People are actually executing. And for a while, it was like information overload. We're seeing execution after execution after execution, which is dope. Let's keep doing it.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay. And shout out to 19 Keys. Check out that debate if you're interested in knowing what happened with Billy Carson. Him and what's the brother's name? He had a debate with, well, not a debate. He had a live with the brother from the Nation yesterday. And they dissected the Billy Carson situation. Don't debate if you're not ready to debate, and never underestimate your opponent. That is a key.
Never.
That is a key to life, because when you reach a certain level, people are
everybody want to kill the king.
They want to take you off of this, and it's like a heavyweight fight. So that's a learning lesson. But he'll be back. I think Billy will be back. But you know, sometimes everybody takes an L every once in a while.
Billy gonna come back stronger, and y'all better be ready. Y'all better be. He gonna call the Anunnaki and get them Sumerian tablets and shit. The Emerald tablets from Toth.
That's a fact.
But Billy gonna put them drones. He gonna put them drones on you.
That's a fact, man.
Real quick.
Oh, Wesley Muhammad. That's the brother's name.
I was gonna say Muhammad.
So that's who 19 Keys and Wesley Muhammad. They had a conversation yesterday about the Billy Carson situation.
Yeah, that was spirited. Shout out to Keys. Messi, what up? High level conversations. Go check in.
For sure. All right. So let's okay. Where do we want to start? Let's start with TikTok.
Okay.
So TikTok, I think they said that they gave them to January 19th.
Mm-hmm.
Lawmakers, Democrats and Republicans, now they're saying that they want Google and Apple to get them off of the app stores by January 19th.
Yep.
But there has been several billionaires that have expressed interest in buying TikTok, and especially some that's very close to Donald Trump. And rumor has it that they're kind of waiting in the wings for him to be inaugurated so that they can kind of settle this TikTok thing. So I have a long-standing belief that I don't think the TikTok will be banned. But what do you think the outcome's going to be?
For Senior Trump and everyone who's close to him, it would be insane. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but it would be insane if an American billionaire bought it who was close to him. I don't think it would be banned. I don't think the economy can't afford it, despite where the stock market may be. So yeah, I'm with that long-standing belief with you. I don't think they'll end up selling it. I think they'll come to an agreement sometime after he is inaugurated.
TikTok.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's a high asset, but it would be amazing, hypothetically, if like you guys were in office and let's say the country demonized the asset and I got to buy it for 50 cents on the dollar. Thank you. Bottle service every day to the house on the wake up. Thank you.
This is the part that even today's news with SoftBank, I think we got to look into that a little bit deeper. SoftBank CEO Masa Son talked about the $100 billion. Maybe we'll get into it a little bit later today. If you look at the investments he made in 2016,
Mhm.
One of the biggest investments he made was in this company called ByteDance. You know what they own?
Yep.
TikTok. So you make it. You've made an investment already with a gentleman in 2016. It was a $50 million investment into the U.S. economy. Today you announced $100 billion, so you've upped it 100%.
Yeah.
One of his
Trump asked for 200 on the fly.
He did like live. Just said, "Yeah, we're gonna do this."
That's a good lesson in that, to ask for the upsell when the deal is about to be done.
Right.
In public.
Yeah, I know we agreed to 100, but like now that the camera's on, what's up with 200?
Yes.
Clever. I used to think that it was going to get banned and going to get sold. Seeing that today raises some eyebrows on whether he'll try to hurt an investment from somebody he's doing a deal with presently.
Yeah.
So I'm up in the air. I think it's something again that the Congress is bipartisan on, right? So they'll try to push something through. It'll probably last for a week or so, and then I think he'll lift it. If there is a ban, he'll figure out a way to lift it. The sale, like I said, there's a lot of moving factors in it. It'll be tough. So I think he comes in and just says, all right, after a week of this, we got an executive order type situation.
Yeah, it's still in the App Store, so unless it gets taken down, I don't think there's anything to worry about. But if it comes off of Apple's App Store,
major blow.
There may be some issues.
Yeah, and then where does all that data go? Like we talk about that being the goal of this generation and generations going forward. That's a lot of data.
Yeah.
Where is it going? Where is it at now?
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Well, only time will tell. We'll monitor the situation for sure. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So,
what's your prediction
about what? TikTok?
Yeah, it stays.
No, I already said I don't think it's going to get banned.
Okay.
Business as usual.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get banned. Like you said, I mean, if anything, they might try to do like but as far as a long-standing ban, I just don't see a world where TikTok just vanishes. I don't see that.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, we can't afford to blow back if they decide to take some of our apps out of their app stores.
It would hurt.
Oh, tremendous. I mean, I know they made my boy Mark go kiss the ring in Mar-a-Lago, but he had to go fly to Beijing or something real quick.
Yeah. I feel like every day there's somebody new that's decided that they're going to donate $1 million. Every day.
Well played.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Here's $1 million.
Tim Scott, you need to go bring $1 million. You gonna get in the cabinet?
Nah. They why they doing the boy like
Salute
that?
to Tim Scott.
Soft shoes, like, come on, man.
Salute to Tim Scott, man.
These jokes written by 85 South.
We're gonna figure
and
it out.
Who's that?
We're gonna figure it out. Okay, so let's talk about Broadcom. Broadcom is a company that is the 13th company to reach $1 trillion valuation, I believe.
Incredible.
In the history of the stock market. It was up 25%, I think, Friday.
Running again today.
10% today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about Broadcom. I know that's one of the companies. Actually, Mike, can we put this screenshot up? Because I know you have put that in EYO University app in September. So let's put this screenshot up to kind of explain. Okay, so talk about that, because you talked about this company. So what's the vibe with Broadcom?
Yeah, we spoke about it a few times. Definitely in September. At the time, I think they were about to report their third quarter earnings. Around the infrastructure of AI, we talked about Nvidia. We talked about TSM, obviously from a manufacturing standpoint. But inside it, these chips need to run at a high efficiency, and one of those high efficiency producers of equipment is Broadcom. And so if we've seen this happen, right, like we talk about the ecosystem of AI, this is one of those links that is necessary. And so if Nvidia is rising, and we saw what they did, and I don't know if great is good enough anymore for Nvidia earnings, right? We see 7% growth, and that's not great. We see it happening inside the space. This is the next one in line. They had a ridiculous quarter. I think $87 billion. It was just absolutely, they blew out their earnings. The guidance is until 2027, right? We talk about companies in the stages of where, like, hey, will they talk about next quarter's guidance, or will they talk about next year's? They're talking about their guidance and their roadmap till 2027, which tells you that they are in firm belief of their growth potential. Obviously, we've been talking about it. We said put it on your watch list. We put some calls, obviously, in EYL University at 170, and the return has been incredible. I think we got up to 300%. There's a lot of people who made some calls on that. So shout out to everybody that made money. But this is the type of thing when we talk about the economy around a space, whether it be data centers or whether it be AI. Yes, it's cool to have the company that is leading the charge, which is Nvidia, and that's great. And most people are like, well, I'll wait till Nvidia comes down, or did I miss the boat on it? Maybe, right? But there's things that have to work in order for Nvidia to continue to excel. Broadcom is one of those companies in that chain. It has made too much sense, and this is why it's leading right now.
And one thing that I do love about Broadcom, so when a sector takes off and like Nvidia is leading the race, look for the CEOs who are incredibly quiet and the teams that are quiet who are just executing. Like the stock is up with $123, $133 in 1 year. For that space, home run numbers, home run executive management, they just keep their head down, focus, make the products better. You couldn't ask for a better return out of this company and better leadership out of this company, while a lot of other companies kind of fell to the wayside. So they've been incredibly focused, and it's definitely paid off for them.
Yeah, and they pay attention to the partnerships and who they're aligning with, right? So when Apple says that they're going to decide to try to create their own chip, well, who are they partnering with, right? Broadcom is right there, right? So you're talking about a $3 trillion company that says, hey, we're going to partner with this company that has high efficiency when it comes to semiconductors. These are the type of things you want to align with. When there's future growth is there, and you can see the roadmap, and the company believes in it, and you have Mag 7 companies partnering with it. These are all the signs you need to see when we talk about catalysts inside of a position. These are the catalysts.
Meanwhile, Intel is negative $25 over the same 1 year period. Babe boy, who was writing on my YouTube, where you at? I ain't seen you on the show about 8 months, 9 months. It's not coming back. Muerta, Spiritu Santo.
And Intel, I mean, even with the U.S. granting it $8 billion, has still just been trading. I mean, under $21. I told people, like, look. Yes, Broadcom is important in terms of hyper efficiency. Same reason why I talked about Micron, and we saw Micron have a great day. We're anticipating having a great quarter when they report on Wednesday. They're in the memory sector, so there's pockets inside of AI that we need to just make sure that we keep on our watch list and look at, because there's potential growth that's sitting there. Right, it's trading under. I think it was at 110 or 102 earlier this morning. It was at a high of 135 in August. There's opportunities. We just got to make sure that we see them.
Yeah, for sure. So, and with that being said, so you said we showed the screenshot that was in EY University of the 170 call that was called in September. So I say that to say we are a few weeks away from the book launch of our first novel, You Deserve to Be Rich, and it comes out January 15th. 14th.
Yep.
But what we did last month, we did a 48-hour bonus. If you had the pre-sale, you got the stock option boot camp. And we actually it was a part 2 that was planned to this all along. So this is the last pre-sale push that we'll be making. So we're doing another situation similar to this. So for the next 48 hours, Troy in EY University, after he did the stock option boot camp, it's like a 45-minute video where he actually went over how he looks at stocks from a charts perspective and how he actually uses artificial intelligence. We talked about this a few times in Chicago and a few other places.
Are you gonna give him that breakdown? Ooh, boy.
Hey, that Chicago. I mean, we got to go back to that Chicago. In that performance, I'll call it performance. There was a company that we talked about that was trading at $400 called HubSpot.
For sure.
That company is now trading at $447. All from artificial intelligence, which gave me the plug to it. So I mean, it's there.
Yeah. So if you go to youdeservetoberich.com for the next 48 hours. If you order the pre-sale, put your information, your transaction information in, and you will get that video for free. So you'll get the video for free where he actually goes over artificial intelligence, how to pick stocks, and then how to use charts for the options. So 48 hours. And we actually are doing a book tour too. So those tickets are on sale now. Same website, youdeservetoberich.com. And it'll be 5 cities. It's going to be Brooklyn in January 13th, Atlanta, January 14th, January 15th in DC,
Yep.
January 16th in New Orleans, and January 17th in Houston. And the price of admission is just like a book ticket. So I think the tickets is like $35. So, but it's a small room, so that they will sell out pretty quickly. So if you're interested in, and we're gonna have special guests at every city that we go to. So you deserve to be rich book.com. You can buy the book for the pre-order, and you can get the AI and the charts now for free. And then you can, if you want to come to the actual in-person events in those 5 different cities, then you can get that information there for your tickets as well.
5 cities, 5 days.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. And giving an AI blueprint as a bonus is crazy.
Yeah.
That's a work of art.
Yeah. You know what the interesting part is, that the AI, it actually starts to create answers in an algorithm from what you've prompted it. And so every time you ask questions, it gets smarter and gets smarter. So we did that in October. That was 2022, 2023? 2023. It's actually gotten better. So the information and the replies have gotten much better. It's way more efficient, right? Because we try to get rid of the errors. So now it's updated. I mean, if you're not using it.
If you bought a book, you might want to buy another one, because just for this offer, actually. I'm sure if you bought the book the first time and you got the stock option bootcamp, you found tremendous value in it. And the book is tremendously valuable within itself. So yeah, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. That's the deal.
That's crazy. We just talked about, shout out to Joseph. He just put congratulations. I was in the Broadcom play. Shout out to you, my guy.
Get that coin. Yeah.
So, okay, let's talk about this. What are your year-end price targets for 2025? So next year in.
Yeah.
What's the 2025 year end price?
Yeah,
target?
I want to
price target.
Yeah, I want it to like guide them so they can have it in advance. And I know everyone's planning for the new year. So the S&P 2025 target is $804.47. Once again, I'll say $804.47. Bitcoin.
You said S&P.
Yeah, SPY.
SPY.
Oh, SPY.
Yeah.
SPY.
Yeah.
SPY. The ETF, not the S&P as a whole.
No.
Yeah,
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm about to say
we're in trouble.
6,800 is
trouble.
800. Michael Saylor, got to call you.
The UFO is really the Martian invasion.
Yeah, for real. We got to talk about them drones.
No, we are blackout.
We know why they're here.
Blackout. Do we?
Just telling people.
Bitcoin low end target is 155,967. So Bitcoin 155,967. My high end target for end of year is 211,885. A lot of things have to go right, but the high end target is 211,885. My Nasdaq target is 30,463.75. Nvidia is 211.33, and Tesla I have end of year getting to 672.05. Elon committed to 18 strong months to being an efficiency expert for the government. Him and Trump are buddy. No tariffs on Tesla. To the moon. I know he messed up on the Dogecoin last time when he went on SNL. He gonna make up for them gains being close to Trump this election for sure. So 672.05 for Tesla.
What was the Nvidia?
Nvidia 211.33.
211.
Yeah.
We're talking 4 trillion.
Easily. Cause listen, the Blackwell chip hasn't come out.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we're going to talk about quantum. I know y'all been sending the stocks that y'all think are going to run it.
Easy.
Trust me, it's not those small companies. Nvidia is going to be a vital accessory to that quantum race. They won't lead it how they did this AI race, but they will be a pivotal part. So yeah, they'll definitely get to that 4 trillion mark next year.
So what's everybody's stock for 2025?
I haven't found it yet. I'm going to be very honest. I do want to give one for ego reasons, but when I was doing my research this weekend, I haven't found one that I think could be the breakout. So give me to next week, and I hope I can pinpoint which one it'll be.
It's interesting. We and we got a class Thursday. I'm actually going to release my 5 stocks of the year. But I think last year, for the past 2 years, it's kind of been, I've been going back and forth between Amazon and TSM. I will say that TSM is in my 5 for sure. For a couple of reasons. If you read the Wall Street Journal this weekend, they actually have built the first fab in Arizona. It will be, I think they'll be online late 26, early 27. That's encouraging. And then when we talked about Blackwell, I also told you about Rubin, which is the chip for 2026 that is starting to begin production. TSM, there's another couple of reasons I'm gonna tell it in the class, but yeah, TSM is definitely in my top 5 for sure, and it was last year. So that's one of them.
Rashad, what about you?
I think it's the year. I think it's the year of Bitcoin. So I think Bitcoin for sure is going to go up. Like you said, I agree with your number. I think it could hit
250.
250 for sure. In a perfect scenario, but that's 150 definitely for sure. I think it's very realistic for sure. 150, and I mean, if you look at 150, that's 50% gain, right?
That's a couple month run.
I think it's the year of Bitcoin, which would help MicroStrategy. I think this MicroStrategy thing is going. They just got added to the Nasdaq 100, and he's kind of positioned himself as Bitcoin doesn't have a face because nobody knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is. So
some do, but Scottie Pippen knew.
Facts.
But
he's positioning himself as the voice of Bitcoin. That's a powerful position to be in, and I mean, I don't know. There might be no limit to how MicroStrategy, how he's positioned his company outside of government regulation, which I don't see that happening. Is as long as Bitcoin continues to go up, MicroStrategy is going to continue to go up even higher than Bitcoin. So yeah, maybe you could talk about an option play for that on Thursday. But the MicroStrategy play is going. MicroStrategy, I think they're going to have a great year because I just think Bitcoin goes up, MicroStrategy goes up, along with a few other companies as well. But Michael Saylor, he's not stopping. He's doing every media run possible. If you look at his Instagram, it's interesting. It's like a meme page almost. Like he got his stuff on cartoon.
Say that again?
It's like a meme page. That's a fact. That's a fact. He's pumping it. He's pumping it as hard as he possibly can. So
Pause.
So we're gonna see. But Bitcoin, like I added some more position under. I think anything under 100,000, you got to be bullish on because it already reached 100. So you know that it's going to get back to that. Now it's it's over that now. Yeah. Probably the next break point is 120. But I think Bitcoin, Trump, he's just going to do everything he possibly can to ensure that this thing is here to stay, and a lot of people are going to make a lot of money if you're in Bitcoin.
I think that's a great call. He's made a great case as to why it would go. I've been watching Michael for the past 3 weeks, and every time he has an interview, he just doubles down, and I'm like, wow, this is an impressive case. Now, the case that he made earlier today, which was really interesting, was the catalyst event, right? Like we always talk about catalysts in stocks, but what is it really inside of the crypto space, specifically Bitcoin? And he was like, the need from the United States to have a security-backed stable coin. And he was like, if that can happen, we're talking about, this is 250. That's, you can talk about best case scenarios.
That's going to be a floor. Yeah.
I mean, because if you look at it now, like Tether has become that, but it's not really backed by the U.S. If they can figure out, and if you have a pro crypto president and administration, if they can figure out have one that is backed by the United States, you'll start to see the United States buy more, and then you start to see worldwide, right? When we talk about the U.S. dollar and how China is not going to use it, or we talk about BRICS. If you can get a U.S.-backed security in the crypto space, I mean,
it's game over.
Yeah, it's lights out.
And as investors, I think the great lesson is to hoard every asset and have a hedge for your competitor's hedge. So if they're forming BRICS, if we can find a way to make America the crypto capital when we originally were not, well played. The interesting part about Trump and these interviews, we have to see once the inauguration happens. I'll see you guys there. Just but he's been
same seat.
Front row. Me, you, and Tim. Tim gonna be in the back. No pun intended. Just jokes. Just jokes. But Trump has been very calm, and if he can keep this energy post January into February, the market is going to take off. I haven't seen him calmer. He hasn't been on his tweet storm like Meek Mill, how he did last presidency. So I think the people that surrounded him have him a lot more focused, and I think he realizes what's at stake for the country. And if he can get us out of one of these wars, if we can end that Ukraine-Russia conflict, that would be an incredible sign for the economy and for the market as well.
And Tesla going to keep going up too.
Absolutely.
He hasn't left Trump yet. Like they got the Army and Navy game together.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good lesson. Power relationships and networking, everything you guys have been saying. But if you're next to the king, why would you leave to go back to HQ?
But it's also a lesson for like people that's trying to like, all right, he's the richest person in the world, right? And I think he has 10 kids, 4 different. So it's like he's not with his family to be with Trump. He spent Thanksgiving with Trump. He has been with Trump.
I think he brought the family though.
He
had a family picture. I'm like, what?
He's been with Trump probably more than he's been with his family.
How would it have been with Kamala if she would have won? Shout out to the queen.
But
we tried to get y'all to play.
But it's paid off for him. It's paid off for him. I mean, sometimes you got to make short-term sacrifices for long-term gains. So
say it again.
It's a fact. And if you with somebody that can't understand that, the best thing that you should do is leave.
Got to let him go.
This is the richest person in the world. You think like he's making sacrifices to get $100 billion. Is it worth it?
I don't know. Is it? You have two. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. No, here's why.
Come with pack the bags.
Here's what I'm asking. Right at 270 million or 270 billion, which you were at prior to all this.
Yeah.
Now you're at 400. What changes for you?
You don't get that trillion.
No, I'm saying even if you have a trillion, what changes for you?
Can we be very honest?
Power.
You're already the richest man in the world.
It's power, levels of power.
You've accumulated it.
He's trying to catch up to the Saudis while America is falling. Like, I give Elon a lot of flack. The one thing I will give him credit for, he has built enough companies in America to help drive up the GDP of America. And if we're going to be very honest, this is the part about generational wealth people don't want to see. Generational wealth is not 2 or 3 million.
No.
People going to say, yo, he has enough. I get that. He's looking at Saudi Aramco, their family.
Yeah. And that, from that standpoint, I'm saying monetary, that's one thing, but you have the pieces on the puzzle board already prior to all this, right? Like you had all those companies prior to this, right? Like start. That's
but
not
the valuation goes higher.
The valuation of it is going to go higher, but you already have the pieces in place. I guess now it's just like policy.
Power has no end. It's just like Alexander the Great, like when they was like, yo, all right, how much more you going to take? He's like, you're going to keep going. So when you reach a certain point, it's not about money. It's about power, and you can never have enough power. So it's like, all right, he's a powerful person. He's trying to become the most powerful person in the history of the world. He's not there yet. So it's like, but he has a trajectory. He's moving very quickly into that world. So he's probably looking at this like, damn, this opportunity that's in front of me right now, I might never have this opportunity again. Like he's literally right next to the president of the United States, and he's positioning himself in all his companies and his startup companies that he's invested in. And I mean, the dynasty that he's curating is legend.
And Sam stole OpenAI from him. If we're gonna be honest,
does that make the president elect the most powerful person in the world? Then
I don't want to talk about
different levels of power. There's different levels.
I'm asking. I'm just asking.
He's one of the most powerful people.
One of
for sure.
Yeah, but even Alexander, right? Like that reign came to an end.
Everybody's reign is going to come to an end.
But you said power has no end.
But you chase it. It's a game. It's a game. It's all a game. It's all a game.
It goes back to the Medici
Game of
rule.
Thrones.
Money to get power, power to protect the money.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
It's a Game of Thrones.
but
Keyword game.
Yeah, but even those have finales.
But it's not for everybody. Game's not for everybody.
Right.
So if most 99.9% of the people is never gonna even aspire. They don't want to aspire to that. They want to, but that 0.1% of the population that actually do think like that, they're wired differently. This dude is trying to take over universes. He's trying to colonize Mars. If you have in your brain the idea to colonize a planet that you got to think, you got to be a different type of person.
Absolutely.
And he, like I said, I mean, as far as stuff that he says, I don't agree with anything that he says, but I do respect the fact that he's probably one of the most smartest people that's ever walked the earth. And what he's been able to accomplish, nobody else in human history has.
Yeah.
He's accomplished things that nobody else in human history has ever been able to accomplish. That's almost impossible. That's a rare type of person.
Can somebody catch him?
Imagine if he was more likable.
Yeah, can somebody catch him?
No,
not in this era.
and because he's too diversified.
Who's the closest?
Nobody.
I'm gonna be real, bro. Elon is probably 4 or 5 times better than Steve Jobs.
You got to have government. His biggest threat.
And it pains me to say, yeah, you need governmental power to catch him.
That's the only people that he hasn't talked about. That's the only threat is China. If China collectively tries to take him off of this, like that's his biggest threat. No individual person. It's going to take a billion people. It's going to take a billion.
Because quietly, and I mean, this is the time that we live in. Like Zuck is at 220 billion.
Yeah, but it's different. It's just,
like
it's just different.
we're not even talking about that.
It's
like
just
this.
different.
No, I'm just
That's
saying
true.
in terms of wealth, right? This dude is at 220 billion.
But we're talking.
Bezos at 279.
Well, that's why I said like, but when I said 100 million, like a million is like the new 100,000, 100 million like the new 10 million. People didn't understand that because it's just like there was no $1 trillion companies. Now there's $13 trillion companies. There will be there's no trillionaires in the next 10 years. In the next 10 years, there's going to be at least 10 trillionaires. So the value of money is just getting devalued so quickly. But these guys have a lot of money, but they don't have the infrastructure or the power that he has. When you control 70% of the satellites in the world, he controls space. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy as hell that he controls space.
He was the market maker for EV to work. It
He's going to have an army of robots.
Who has the most data out of those guys? Zuck, right?
Google too.
Well, Zuck has more because he has more users.
Yeah, and with the acquisition of WhatsApp. But you're going to argue Elon did Zuck's job of infiltrating and taking better. He didn't found Tesla, but he took it to another level.
Yeah.
Starlink, I think is probably the best and most important startup in American history.
They're buying back private shares already.
And he don't have the political clout. Zuckerberg doesn't have the political clout that Elon has, at least for the next 4 years.
He's younger.
No, I'm just saying for the next 4 years.
4 years. Yeah.
Zuckerberg got to give $1 million to the inauguration because he's trying to get into the. They even said like when he went to go have dinner with Trump was like, "If I lost, would you be here?" Like Trump, like
head on.
They don't have the political cliche that Elon has a green light to do whatever he wants, and that's
to do
for the next
4 years is a long time.
That's what I'm saying. So, but I'm talking about
locked up for real.
But the future projection of that, right? Like
4 years can set you up for life.
Yeah, I mean he's already set for life in terms of like.
No, I mean control the world, set for life. Control the world.
Can he control the world in the next 4 years?
Yeah.
Think about this though. If Sam wouldn't have fucked him out of out of OpenAI, Elon would probably be under Rockefeller's 1B.
He's going to be.
That's an important.
He's going to be over Rockefeller. He's going to be over Rockefeller.
OpenAI just hit. They just hit.
It's going to be tough.
300. They got
because of government regulation.
All the startup company. Look, that's what I'm saying. He for the next 4 years, he's going to bring all these companies. Government regulation means nothing to him for 4 years. He got to get out of jail free card for 4 years. That's why he's not sleeping. He like, yo, this is it. I'm up. I'm with you. Anywhere you go, I'm with you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Think about what he can do in 4 years. You got Neuralink, you got Starlink, you got
still got the Boring Company.
SpaceX.
That's all the same. SpaceX is under.
No, SpaceX is
Starlink is under SpaceX.
But I'm saying as far as the government contracts and all of that stuff, he's going to be able to maneuver himself.
Yeah, that's why I said policy
not just in America.
Yeah,
he's going to be able to maneuver himself globally
in the world
to control a lot of different sectors. Like he's going to be able to control a lot of different sectors. You start putting chips in people's brains globally.
Yep, and you send them little robots over to fight that war. I'm telling that stock alone, Starlink gonna be worth 280 to 400 easily.
I think the valuation for SpaceX right now, they were talking about the buyback of shares at $185, which would give it a $350 billion valuation.
People, even Tesla, people is so bullish on Tesla because of Elon. Really, it's like that's the only publicly Trump company that they can actually invest in. So it's like the next best thing to invest in his whole. So they're so bullish on Elon that Tesla's a no-brainer. It's like this is why the stock represents the confidence that people have.
There's no fundamentals. It's like this isn't a car play. This is not like a vehicle.
It's not a robot play. It's not a car play.
It's an Elon Musk tech company play.
And he's going to bring at least 4 companies public in the next.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Starlink, SpaceX, 26, get maybe even Boring Company. Cool. Close it out. Neuralink. Cool. Power of relationship. I know a lot of y'all keep asking why y'all keep doing shows and diversifying. And I know y'all get criticized for interviewing celebrities. This is why. Yeah. David Sachs got a fucking position in the White House.
Czar.
Doing the same thing. Made his own position. Shout out to Sachs. I'm not mad at you for doing it. Elon made up his own title.
Yeah. Y'all saw Chris Rock on SNL?
That was crazy.
You say the wealthiest man in the world is African American?
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
Well, let's talk about quantum computing. Quantum computing, something that's been getting a lot of attention lately.
Yeah.
They said that quantum computers, these things actually will solve in minutes what a regular computer takes 1 million years to solve.
Yeah,
it's not really at full capacity yet. They said over the next 5 years, maybe 10 years, it'll be like. But you have to keep it in the coldest conditions known to human, and they're complex computers. They pose a great risk security because they can crack codes. They could do they could do pretty much anything. So a lot of people think that that's going to be a risk to cryptocurrency.
It will be,
especially Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, it's not like they have like a working in governance that's actually updating cybersecurity on nobody even, it's a little harder than like say Ethereum, more centralized coin where they can, adapt with the times a little quicker. So how will this affect Bitcoin and cryptocurrency?
Short term or long term?
No, short term is not going to have an effect, but long term.
I think I first mentioned quantum on the show maybe 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
You did.
Next biggest space. It's going to be really interesting, though. What I will say about that Google quantum chip, I scoured the internet high and low looking after I looked at Travis's drama that he had going on. And the thing that I didn't see was a demo. So if you have this amazing chip and I'm seeing more videos about cooking with Kaya than you, of this demo of the quantum, I don't believe you. We need more people. Y'all missed out on the AI race the first time. I'm not saying that Google does not have the chip. I would have loved to see the demo though. Now, how will it affect Bitcoin? I think at some point there may be some attacks, but I think they'll also, whoever runs the quantum space will end up providing cybersecurity for them. So if I have the ability to break into your safe, why not hire me as security for your safe to help you kind of keep some of these things encrypted? So, but I do think this sector is going to have a tremendous impact on crypto as a whole, the economy as a whole. It's going to be the next space. It's going to be as hot as AI was the last 2 years. But I'm not sold on Google having the solution yet. And I know everybody's asking about QUBS and the small companies. I'm telling you, a small company is not going to take the lead over in this race because it's probably one of the most important innovations of like the last 80 years. So,
yeah, I'm with you on that. I think short term, the quantum computers, they're just not powerful enough to interrupt Bitcoin. It's interesting. I was with you. I didn't see a demo. So when we talk about we're talking about Willow, and that's the computer. And so I had to like, now I got to do the research on it. So now I'm trying to figure out like, how does this thing work? And so the word qubits come up. So like if you're doing research on quantum computing, you're going to hear qubits, and it just means a quantum bit. So for all y'all like that grew up playing video games, you remember when it was like 16-bit, 32-bit, 64-bit. That was just the measure of information that can be taken. And so a qubit is that. It's the measure of information that can be taken inside of quantum computing. Willow right now is at 105 superconducting qubits. So 105. That's where it's at currently. The problem with quantum computing, if you read every physicist and every expert, is the error test, right? It can do things very fast, but is it accurate? The reliability of it is so far off right now in present day. In order for it to have satisfactory error rates, it needs about 1,500 qubits. So right now, Willow's at 105. To have satisfactory error rates, and it needs 1,500. For it to have perform large fault-tolerant calculations, it needs between 100,000 to 1 million qubits. Yeah. So when we talk about where are we at in quantum computing, very beginning, Google, which was a breakthrough, is at 105. To have large model, we need about 100,000 to 1 million. So we're kind of out of that. Like I said, as far as Bitcoin, not powerful enough yet. When it becomes, right, because Bitcoin isn't going anywhere, quantum computing isn't going anywhere. Bitcoin, if you understand proof of stake, proof of work, it has the ability to change in terms of forking. And so, like, again, doing the research on it, they're already trying to figure out how they can have like cryptographic algorithms that are resistant to quantum computing. And so these technologies are working at the same time. They know the issue that's ahead of it. There are already people trying to figure out what is the soft fork that can help be resistance to it. And so that happened. Like by the time we figured it out, they've been working on it for probably 3 years already, knowing that this is the case going forward for quantum computing and the road that it'll collide with Bitcoin. Because like you said, security and reliability are going to be the two things that will be at the forefront of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like when an artist back in the day said, I had a fire album, and it's like, well, let me hear something. It's like, give me 9 more months. It's like, if it was there, they would have had demo day immediately.
10-second snippet of the album.
No, I mean, most people say that it's not ready yet.
Yeah,
but it will be.
Yeah,
sure.
Google,
China's putting more money in than anybody else. And I even saw a study. There was like the scientists, like the graduate classes for like these type of, the average in America is 4 students per class. In China is 25 students. So they are pumping billions of dollars into, America is too, but they're putting even more resources, talent, human resources into quantum computing. And they're patient. So when it does happen, they're definitely working hard towards fine-tuning it and being the leaders in it.
And that's the point. It's like quantum computing is not going anywhere. And if we look at it like we looked at AI, then there'll be companies leading it, but infrastructure will still be needed, right? So if you're looking like, what's the play? Like you said, there's people that'll put up like, these are the quantum computing stocks. Look for infrastructure, right? Because they need to be housed somewhere. Cooling is very important to it. Who are the companies that are creating those things? Power and energy are going to be important. Like the power is ridiculous. Like when you're talking about how fast this works, they said that Willow's complex calculation can create solve something in 5 minutes, which would normally take a classic supercomputer around 10 septillion years to complete.
That sounds good with no demo.
That's ridiculous. So think about the power that's going to take to do that. Think about the infrastructure that needs to be housed to do that. Those are the areas that I would be looking at if we're talking about 5-10 years when it comes to quantum computing.
Yeah. You got to wait. The land is there, but it hasn't been developed yet. No amazing properties are there yet, so give it time. And trust me, like if there's a clear winner in quantum, it's going to be on the news nonstop, the same way Nvidia was the last 2 or 3 years.
We talked about MicroStrategy. So what's your thoughts on MicroStrategy and Palantir being added to the Nasdaq 100?
Goodbye. Who left? Intel and Moderna? Fauci?
Supermicro left the 100, Nasdaq 100 too.
Well deserved.
Not the Nasdaq 100.
Hit the road, Jack.
Two different things.
Yes.
Okay.
I think they were great additions. I think Palantir is going to be promising, even though I don't like some of the inner workings of the company. I do like Alex, though. I think Alex is a great CEO. So great addition. MicroStrategy. I think this is really a great. The next 4 years is going to be America versus China, and this goes back to what you were saying earlier. If you can't invest directly in Elon, Michael has positioned himself as a new Kathy Woods that is connected to Trump and that is riding that Bitcoin and Trump train. So I think it's a great addition. When is their earnings call?
For
MicroStrategy.
I'll give it to you right now. One sec.
I cannot wait. I'm shutting everything. And listen, if we got to film that day, let's take a little pause break because I need to hear if these profit margins have changed as a result. So
that'd be like the Super Bowl. We just sit there and watch.
Absolutely. But great additions for sure. And whatever happens in 3 or 4 years,
MicroStrategy is not even. It's like $99
February 4th
billion market cap. So it's not $100 billion company yet. So I mean, it's interesting as far as the earnings because does it really matter as far as their core product of selling computer software? Nobody cares about that. It would have to be looked at as far as their earnings on Bitcoin, and that's through the roof.
True. Why not fire sell all the products then to another company and just go full investment there?
Maybe that's what they'll do.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh no.
We will monitor.
Huh?
We will monitor. I like Michael. I've learned too, as an investor, that in that broadcasting, never attack. I did it on the first episode with Forex, right? Never attack an asset. But when some things change in 26 or 27, don't say I didn't tell you. Also, monitor how much Elon and Tesla's buying.
Yeah.
How much they're buying of what?
Bitcoin.
Well, he bought a bunch a while ago.
Yeah. A while ago, yeah.
Yeah, Saylor just bought 15,000 more. Well, MicroStrategy bought 15,000 more at when it hit 100,000. They're sitting right at 100. They're sitting at 99 and a half billion. So they're right at the 100 billion mark.
Well,
right
he's going to keep buying Bitcoin all the time. And
Yeah.
as he keeps buying Bitcoin, he just adds his more and more to his position, which makes him a whale in a space, which adds to the value of Bitcoin, which adds to the value of his company.
Yeah.
So it's not really in his interest to ever it don't matter what all-time highs, he's going to keep buying it.
Yeah, because it's really a spread trade against his company anyway, because the Bitcoin average quarterly return is outpacing what MicroStrategy's yearly returns were. So it's a win. It's a win for him across the board.
Yeah, it's doing 29% a year. That's the average.
Easily. It's 140 this year. Home run. So
yeah, he was on I believe it was CNBC earlier, just today.
Yep.
Just like you show me the asset that can get you that.
How you gonna keep doing? He's gonna keep doing it. zero or a million. That's the first. Is going to reach one of those first.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the only thing that can make it's either going to be the biggest Ponzi scheme in the history of the world, or it's the unstoppable asset. So the odds is that it's an unstoppable asset.
Yeah.
I guess for the pessimists, they have questions like who is Satoshi Nakamoto? Like that's a story that's nobody really ever has answered, and that's dangerous. Because if it does come out that he is a government entity, or you lose trust, and this whole thing is based on trust. So
you know what? I'm gonna be real. Not to cut you off. It's part of my apologies, but I don't even think people care. Like Langley, y'all can go ahead and come out and tell me a joke.
Langley.
They don't even give a fuck no more. Y'all don't care about the centralization no more. Yeah. None of that bullshit y'all was talking 3 years ago.
You know, I don't know who Satoshi is, but I know who Larry Fink is. And Larry Fink, he's the CEO of BlackRock. And BlackRock has the fifth largest holding of Bitcoin when 5-6 years ago, that was not the case. And so if we follow the money and we follow the largest asset allocation managers in the world, their belief is that it's going toward $1 million, not zero.
Yeah,
potentially. Or they could be propping it up, and that could be the biggest rug pull of all time. Hypothetically speaking, for my conspiracy theorists out there, anything is possible. Not saying that that's the case, but just
it won't go to zero because there's too much money on the ETF side to let it go to zero. So
institutional investing.
The conspiracy theorist out there.
Has anybody checked on Jamie Dimon's opinion on it yet lately?
Well, Jamie gonna do what he been doing. He gonna talk about it bad and publicly and keep buying that shit privately.
Well, Warren Buffett is the one I think that really
Charlie.
Rest in peace.
Well, no, Warren Buffett said himself that if you gave him all the Bitcoin in the world for $25, he wouldn't take it. That's his famous quote, because he said it doesn't do anything. It serves no purpose. It has no farms, no land, doesn't produce any product. So he said, if you gave me every single Bitcoin in the world for $25, I would not take it. That's what he said a couple years ago. So
shout out to Warren.
He would be an interesting person to actually have
absolutely
on Market Monday, because I wonder if he still holds the same view. And I mean, he's obviously an intelligent person as well. So he's made some mistakes. Everybody has, but I would wonder what he thinks about this, because if he felt that strongly against it, he had to feel that strongly against it for a reason. I wonder if he's starting to change his perspective, or if he still feels like if you gave him all the Bitcoin in the world for $25, he wouldn't take it.
Also, go ahead, Troy.
No, I was gonna say, just based on like reading about him and reading everything he said, I think he's gonna hold firm. He's 3 years old. He's not changing his opinion on it. But it'd be interesting to see what Berkshire does in the event of his passing at some point over the next 10 years. What their stance will be as you get fresher ideas, new people in there.
I mean, you can change your opinion. It's not wrong changing your opinion.
Yeah, I think I don't know if he will, but Charlie Munger didn't, and he passed away. So he passed away with that opinion. But it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
So it's the Satoshi Nakamoto question is always going to be that's going to be a thing for people like him. They're not going to be able to understand it. They're like, why would I invest in something that is shrouded in a mystery? But like I said, if you look at the vast majority of belief systems that we have as human beings, most of them are shrouded in mysteries. So
hey, who's time out? 50 cents.
Where's Billy when you need him?
I agree, but emerald tablets, 13th day hey, I feel you. I agree. But we want to keep the lights on.
So yeah, 0 or $1 million, but I don't think it can go to zero. But it is kind of, you have to have some level of paranoia in the back of your head, because as this keeps getting more and more valuable, how far you guys think, like how big can it actually grow, as far as will it ever actually fulfill its prophecy? If it fulfills its prophecy, then that's going to be a historic.
What's the prophecy?
That it overtakes gold.
Oh, okay. He said, by 2040, he has it at 13 million. Michael Saylor, I'm speaking of.
That's overtaking gold.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
On dust for that. That's not going to happen. But
if he's on dust, if you do the calculations by 29%, that's what it'll reach.
For most institutions, it would be an uninvestable asset if it crosses $1 million.
Well,
can't do a stock split.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, it's like gold. You don't have to buy the whole entire thing, right?
Fractional.
You could buy, and that's even Hill Harper was saying years ago that Satoshis, it would get to a point where the average person, you look at gold, right? Nobody really looks at gold as like a bar of gold. You look at it as an ounce of gold. That's because the bar of gold has gotten so pricey that it's out of realm of possibility for most people. So we don't price gold like that. We price it in ounces. So his thing has always been like, at some point in time when Bitcoin just becomes so out of the realm, then we're gonna price Bitcoin in Satoshis, not the actual price of one particular coin.
Yeah. Langley, y'all can man, these motherfuckers don't care, yo. Just come out, tell them y'all made up Satoshi. He in Montana with Kanye working on a new album. They'll be okay. They don't even care about the centralization. Even Michael Saylor being the face of it, and because it's a different crypto era, I get it. But when this was first being position and poise, it was supposed to be anti the system. Now it is the system.
Yeah. That happened pretty quickly though.
Very fast. They was calling me all kind of Rashad Troy, how dare you align yourself with Ian? And he saying that the banks are going to take over. He don't. Okay, here we are. Y'all pro JP Morgan and pro BlackRock now.
Even before the banks took it over, the Winklevoss twins.
Yes.
A very few people. It's been the power structure has been centralized for a while.
Yes. Now, Kathy was the first large-scale institutional investor who paired this trade with Tesla, and they took her home, and nobody gave a damn.
But the interesting thing about it is that everything around Bitcoin has failed. Like I remember Gary Vee was saying that NFTs the NFTs failed, and then most altcoins
talk about it
have failed. Every altcoin really has failed for the most part, except for like a couple, like Ethereum and stuff like that. But to the XRP army,
a handful.
You got, but they still haven't reached their all-time peak. So, and then the what was that shit called? The digital universe.
Who?
Metaverse.
Oh.
That was all this was tied to cryptocurrency. That's went by the wayside. So the ecosystem has not been successful.
Yeah.
Because there's been an ecosystem around Bitcoin. Altcoins, NFTs, the metaverse, none of this has been successful. Mm-hmm. That's why it gives even more doubt for the critics.
The NFTs were based around Ethereum,
but it's still crypto. But
crypto
starts at Bitcoin, so it's like
it's tying the two together. But
it's the mothership.
The count they're gonna be like, yo,
no, but it's the mothership.
The dominance that it has Bitcoin, on the space is prevalent.
Bitcoin is the sun, and then there's a universe that comes from that, and then so none of this works out. None of this, nothing has worked out so far. Nothing.
A lot of Thanos finger snap, Joe.
I mean,
that's like the chill guy meme that I liked fell apart. I didn't invest in it, but I like the little dog with the chill vibe. Cool. Like it's a lot of.
None of it has worked. This whole universe, but I still like Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin gonna go up. I'm just saying the Bitcoin universe, the universe of cryptocurrency, has not been. It's been scammed. I
hear the comments now. Rashad, you're wrong. You don't know. To that you say
they say like I still got my crypto kitty.
What has the value? Look at if something
Litecoin dead.
If something goes like
this, it's back. It's back, not dead.
Yeah,
that's just some scam to make money.
I'm just it's not dead.
It's like if something goes like this, then that's negative. Something goes like this is positive. Bitcoin has gone like this, that's positive. NFTs has gone like that. Altcoins
for sure.
Like that. Real estate value in the metaverse has gone like that. So I mean,
Web3 is in the fucking grave.
No, that
y'all quit talking about that. You don't understand the utility and the tokenization. Dog, what? Okay. What? If Web3 was that fucking powerful, you don't think we would have used it? Okay.
I mean, like I said, I do believe that Bitcoin is here to stay, but I mean, it is a little concerning that all the universe, the Marvel universe, has just come and gone.
That failed too,
and then that's back. That's coming back.
And then they keep doing the same thing over and over again. Like even these venture capitalists investing in these
Talk about it.
Two finger point.
Hold on. You want to talk about the Ponzi for real? I don't want to ruin it. Hey,
2 finger point.
That's the real rug pull. That's the Aladdin rug pull.
How y'all put money in crypto, left and went to NFT, took that money out, brought the angel investors with y'all into Web3. That failed, and then y'all went back to crypto.
But that's what they're doing. The angel investors figured out a way to actually 10x their returns quicker, because it's like, okay, if I invest in X, Y, and Z company, now they got to go through the due diligence, they got to build a company. But if I invest in X, Y, and Z, NFT project related to metaverse, related to whatever, and now all they could do is just, as soon as they issue coins, like Chris talked about this, as soon as they issue coins on the ICO, now they become valuable. Now I have my money back and more in 6 months, and then I can sell it, dump it on the public, and then just move on to the next project. So I made my money back a lot quicker and a higher return guarantee than I would if I just was invested in just textile companies in Argentina. And the venture capital people got, because none of these, so it's like, why is venture capital dumping so much money in an area that's not successful? They're making money, just nobody. It's just
I'm an ICO, initial coin, and IPO. They're gonna make more money doing it this way because there's less like you said, there's less regulations. There's what's the guard dog on that?
And that's why they all stand close to Trump, because Trump is he's the wizard of it right now, and he's the man with the power. And
he had his own coin, right? Did he have his own coin?
For sure. Trump, I think the Trump coin.
The crazy part is, even though he is the guard dog, his idea for America to buy up the remaining Bitcoin and make it an American asset is actually a brilliant idea.
But they said they got to borrow money to do it.
Shit, we've been borrowing money for everything else.
Like, yeah, that's what I was like. Nobody gives a fuck about anything
at all. Like everything we learned about risk control is out the window. Even like some other guy a couple days ago on Instagram was like, yo, you're talking about investing in index funds. Isn't that an SEC violation? I'm like, Michael Saylor's talking this fucking book on CNBC. You talking to me? Bro.
Please.
If I made you money, please put yes in chat. Oh, to you hedge funds, if you need help, yeah, you can hire me. You don't have to hate. I love you. If you need some higher returns. I know a guy who's pretty good at this thing. If you're not, I won't even tell nobody.
What can happen in 2025 that people might not want to hear when it comes to the markets?
That the back half could be, I wouldn't say disastrous, but I think the back half, maybe August, September, could be really rough. And that the gains that we're seeing from the post-Trump win probably will not stay through all of 2025. Whenever, I've always said it, whenever financial and investment advice is at the forefront of SportsCenter, that's when I get worried. I saw people who never talked about crypto start talking about Bitcoin and XRP. I'm like, didn't you used to manage OnlyFans models or something 2 years ago? Like, wait, what? You an XRP xenophyte or whatever you call them? Like, oh, okay, cool. Getting kind of toppy, no pun intended. Okay. So the second half of the year, it may be a little bit of trouble. And I think that AI run starts to cool off. That battle between Sam and Elon, and maybe we'll talk about it on Blackout, but rest in peace to that gentleman who died of suicide, who whistleblowed on OpenAI. Very telling. Very telling. That battle, Elon's wrong about a lot of things. How that was taken from him, Sam, you got to go kiss that ring too. I know you know.
He did.
You feeling yourself too?
Yeah.
But if you make enemies with me, and then I'm right-hand man with the president, oh, I'm gonna stall the shit out your IPO.
He was the latest to say that he was going to donate $1 million. So he did that.
You better go donate $25 million.
I think both points that you made 100% true. I think it's interesting as we approach a rate cut this week potentially with Jerome Powell. Yeah. When you look out for the forecast of 2025. There's not a cut in sight.
That's scary.
There's not a cut in sight. And so when we've been talking about lowering inflation and lowering interest rates, there's no sign of that in 2025, which was something that we kind of were looking for and pricing in 2024. We thought the first half of the year there would be 6, and then maybe there's another. So we had some in 2024, and obviously that held. There's no sign of that in 2025, and there's no sign that to say, hey, what if inflation rises again? Then what?
Which I think it will. The cost of everything is higher. And take the feelings out of it, like people can't afford as much. Yeah,
right.
People can't afford as much.
Yeah, they asked the president-elect about that. What about the price of eggs coming down? He said, I don't think it will. That's not really how it works. Things just don't come down because we want to. As soon as people raise prices and people start paying them, they usually keep those prices.
And that's for everything. Rent, cars. I mean, even looking at the average car, like I saw a report that the average car price in 3 years could be $1,100. I was like, what? the fuck are we, for a non-luxury car? What? How is that sustainable? That is incredibly high. Like, even seeing all the tech billionaires and multimillionaires go grovel because they have to, that's scary to me.
What do you think happens there? Now I'm thinking about it, right? Like, as far as the EV market, they took out the incentives to have EVs. The inaugural team that's coming in is not really big on EVs, but Elon has Tesla. How do you think that plays out?
I'll be big on Tesla because Tesla's a technology company, not just solely EV. That classification thing, right? That matters a hell of a lot. But it goes back. I keep saying it. The power relationship, like even making my next like 5-year plan, right? A lot of people like, oh, okay, what are you going to do next? And they're thinking linear instead of exponential. But looking at what Kanye did and the leaps in from music to fashion to tech, Elon did the same thing. He just had a cleaner path. And I think you have to look at companies that are not doing traditional things to continue to have an edge. Because if you just focused on one, if Elon just solely focused on being a car maker in the EV space, I mean, it could be disaster for him if he didn't have Trump. Mm-hmm. Even in that, like going back to the work ethic part, Rashad was alluding to and having the right person, it takes time to build these companies. But if he's building all those, and Elon's like, I was listening to, was it Mark Benioff? No, I think Reid Hoffman. And they were saying he's still going to every company every week with all the lead people and saying, what's the number one problem? And he's trying to fix it. That's not because he's bored. Like, they know something is coming or could happen that we're not aware of. Like, Elon's working as if he's back broke and he just got into Silicon Valley while other people are chilling. Like, you have to look at that.
It makes sense. When you think about, I don't know, it was kind of in the show notes, is like, now, if you look at all the spaces, one of the ones he's not in is telecommunications, which is why the partnership with T-Mobile kind of makes sense, right? Because now it looks on the surface, let me try to solve the world's problems. Like, what are the problems that the world, right? Like, so like, let's eradicate dead zones for cell service. Well, how do I do that? Well, I got satellites in space, and if I get a carrier that can partner with me, then we can do that. So from that standpoint, the interesting part will be I think they have a 1-year exclusive deal with them.
Yeah.
But after that deal's up, you could see, like, if this works out right, now you got the data of maybe Verizon. Mm-hmm. You get the major carriers in there with you. Now you're talking about data the way that I was kind of alluding to what Zuckerberg has. Because, people use that app, but they use it on a device. And if I can get everybody who has a device,
And then what's the average age of the Nigerian population? Got to be under 25.
I think it's like 30 or 31.
That's like 18, I think.
Is it? That's cool.
So let's say it's just sub 26.
Whew, yeah.
That's a whole. Okay, so now if you have partnerships here that work and then you bring them to Africa, because I think maybe in 10, 15 years, I mean, they're already setting up there because that's the next gold rush. Hell, they'll subsidize and give everybody phones in Africa through Starlink.
It's 18. It's 18.
Bro, you got 35, 40 years of runway. Then they'll ask y'all, where y'all going to Ghana and build a house? What? Everybody's going. The NFL's there.
The average age of the continent, the entire.
That's crazy.
20.
They haven't even got close to a financial uptick yet, let alone a prime.
That's crazy.
What?
That's crazy.
Don't be surprised. Like, if they bring out the old idea that Tremont had and give everybody a phone on the continent, or like,
now
these are major tech wars that are being played.
Yeah. And the opportunity is there. Like, when you go to most people have like a cell phone, or I mean, that's the way they communicate. It's also the way they bank. It's also the way they trade.
The super colonizer play.
Let me give you all cell phones. Track your data for the rest of your life.
For real.
Here, use these satellites. They're free.
So what's like 3 companies that could lead quantum computing?
Google, for sure. I don't know if they'll directly invest or like have the infrastructure, but I think Microsoft will do what they did in the AI space, and they'll invest That's a way to have exposure. And I think there's going to be a dark horse that nobody sees yet. I'm looking internationally to see, and like you alluded to it earlier, I think China may end up, we can't afford that, but I think China may be the kickoff in a quantum space, and we'll probably have to play catch up. But I'm trying to find one internationally that I think will have great exposure. And I haven't been able to find one yet.
I'm looking at one now, RGTI. And for the sole reason that it deals with infrastructure, with manufacturing, quantum computers, and the hardware for it. Early into my research for it, I'm just letting y'all know now. This is what I'm currently researching. RGTI, Rigetti Company, computing company. It's on the watch list because that's how I'm viewing things. Yes, this is who's building the infrastructure, who has a central hardware that's needed. It's one of my companies.
You know who invested more money than any of those companies that you named?
Who?
IBM.
Yeah, they started before Google. It was them.
True.
Right? What was, I forgot the name of it. Oh my gosh.
Watson.
Right.
Watson. Yeah. And I think this is a great lesson too. Even if you don't like a company, you have to still be objective for if they can come back. I don't think they will, but you are right. They have invested a lot in that space.
I think they're gonna play a role for sure.
Maybe it's their comeback. Maybe that's what they're banking. That's what they're banking on.
If the colonizer play works, if you know the origin of IBM and what they did here and what they tracked overseas before, maybe
colonizer play.
Well, Robinhood is reportedly exploring sports betting to add to their portfolio of options that they can give to their customers. Is this a smart decision?
I'm biased. I'm pro Robinhood. I'm pro Vlad. I don't care what y'all say. Most of the innovation, if we're gonna be very honest, I've been on Thinkorswim when it was with TD Ameritrade going back to 2012 or 2013. I never seen innovation come out of this industry as fast. Did they have some missteps? Yes. Did they sell data? Yes. Did everybody else sell data and just didn't tell you? Absolutely.
Did they charge you fees?
Absolutely, yes. So do I love the idea? I think one thing they're doing really well for sure is innovating at a faster clip in the financial space. And if you can bet on a order block, that would be really fascinating. Seeing what they showed us at the conference for futures, I was impressed. If they can add that to sports betting, I would definitely take an over-under before of how long Travis gonna keep that girl. For sure. I'm talking blackout.
Yeah, I think kudos to Vlad. They have a responsive and innovative CEO. Yep. So, how many times do you hear your users have complaints, and how many times do you actually see the CEO respond to those the complaints and updating and making things better based on those complaints? We watch it happen in real time. He's aware of what's happening inside of the world of sports betting. Rather than going to all these other platforms and you're already investing here, he's already made it a gamified situation in terms of the ease case on his platform. It was a no-brainer. I feel like for him, he's taking advantage of the moment.
Do I like the over sensationalizing of gambling? No. When y'all clip this up, don't say that we hate people that we cool with, but I do think it's smart for them to take advantage of it. They love to play. Rashad and Troy hate Joe for talking about pride. I'm like, Danny, stop, bro.
Got it.
I know it was a slow news day.
Gotcha.
Got it. The Bills by 4.
Like, bro.
Oh, man. Shout out to Joey.
But it is interesting to see how big that market has got, and it goes to show if all of the former illegal vices that were available to Americans are now legal, what does that tell you about the state of the economy?
More legalization. That's what it tells me.
Coming. Need it.
More. What sports gambling has done for New York and New Jersey, unprecedented.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get, you think the casinos that potentially could be coming to Queens, the casino that could potentially be coming into Manhattan.
Yeah. Insane.
Writings on the wall.
And James don't get paid off all of that. I'm not joking. Knicks cooking. Knicks cooking though. Shout out to the Knicks. Yeah, it's interesting to see.
Yeah.
Do you think the second half of the decade will be a stronger performing market, or do you think it will perform less than the first half of this decade?
I think it's spot investments, not like the whole entire thing. Like, so crypto or particular stocks related to technology or artificial
or quantum.
Yeah, quantum for sure. Yeah. It's like the whole entire stock market, probably not.
Yeah.
Sector specific. Yeah, I mean, technology is always going to lead. I don't think that changes.
Yeah, it's not going to change.
Bitcoin will be the asset that we potentially see it as. I'm interested to see what happens in that sector as we start to see more and more debt, and we see more and more spending, and we potentially see inflation returning. Industrials, financials, tough. It could get interesting.
All the hedges have become the main investment. Like, I'm trying to think of a time, maybe you guys can remember, and Rashad is you as an advisor, where all the risk on investments became the primary driver. I think this is the first time in history where, like, because Bitcoin should be a hedge. And once again, no one's talking about the bond. The bond market is dead. Life support. No one cares. Crypto's great replacement. Don't get me wrong. But if you were told to do 60-40 8 years ago, oh, your portfolio got crushed holding bonds. Who would have thought? Langley,
the good folks at Langley. Agent Starling.
Yep.
What happened? Remember the regional bank story?
Just went away with Takashi. Just quotes.
Nobody even.
It's a bunch of little sectors when you go look at. You're like, this shit is still 50% under, and no one said a word.
Yeah, JP just took over Silverbank, like
quietly.
All these these regional banks are just clock is ticking. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to take a intermission break to bring up our good friend
of the show.
He was with us last week. So he's coming back.
Put on a hell of a performance.
For sure. Caleb Silver, editor-in-chief of Investopedia. Let's bring Caleb up.
Caleb, my good brother.
What's going on?
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, guys. Always a pleasure.
For sure, man. Thank you so much. So, if anybody missed it, you was with us last week for Earn Your Leisure. We did a live tutorial on crypto 101 for beginners. So check that out if you haven't. If a lot of great information about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and everything that you need to know. And today we're going to be switching gears. And I know you want to talk about some of the hot topics, I believe, right, on this site of year.
Right. Every year, Investopedia likes to quantify, to see what our users were looking for. We got millions of readers coming to us every single day, every single month, looking for an answer to something. It could be just a definition. It could be an explanation. It could be a question. How do I invest $10,000, 401k, Roth IRA? So everybody has an individual question. That's the thing about finance. It's super personal. But looking at those over time, aggregating those over time, gives us a sense of where our psyches were as investors throughout this incredible year. And for investors, it's been an incredible year. Am I right? We don't get back-to-back years of plus 25% very often, and we don't get these rallies in risk assets like we've had this year every single year. So it's been fun to watch, and I'd love to share them. So every year we're looking to see what people are looking for, and it shouldn't be a big surprise that inflation was our top term of 2024. It was on everybody's mind. Not only was it on everybody's mind, even though the growth rate of inflation was slowing, it was the thing that kind of turned the tide in a lot of different ways, especially the election. So people were watching inflation closely. They knew the headline numbers were coming down, and you guys can relate to this, but they didn't feel like they were paying any less for anything, and that's because they weren't. The rate of growth was slowing, but inflation was still prevalent. It's still prevalent today. It'll probably be a popular term next year. And then the thing that they were making this decision with, among the economic decisions they were making, is if they elect President Trump back into office, they're going to get tariffs. So tariffs became a very big theme with our readers throughout the second half of the year, especially as the campaign and the election heated up quite a bit. That was fun and fascinating to watch. And then it's rare to have a company dominate our top 10, but Nvidia was that company in 2024, arguably in 2023 as well. But the returns from a company like Nvidia that became the story stock, I've been watching you guys every single week. I know you've been talking about it and talking about the other chip makers, but Nvidia was a stock that all of a sudden people were gathering together and having earnings watch parties like regular people, not people like me and Ian and you guys, but regular folks were getting together and watching the Nvidia earnings reports, listening to every word Jensen Huang had to say. That became a super important story. And then stock split followed that right behind because Nvidia had that big 10-for-1 stock split, which just shows you the behavior of investors. They know about this company. They hear about a stock split. They know the stock is going to get cheaper. And what do? They go and they investigate what it means when a stock splits. We also had 340 other stock splits, including Walmart, but that was on people's minds. And then another one that really got my attention, Bitcoin, for obvious reasons. That was the risky but very profitable asset for a lot of people. And the money line bet, guys. This was the first year where the betting polls on the election were actually more accurate than the polls themselves, which have gotten more and more inaccurate over the years. But you could bet on the outcome of the election, and Polymarkets really kicked it off. But you could do it on Robinhood. You could do it throughout Europe. You could do it on multiple sites. This is the year that really came together, and that, to me, I think is the beginning of a big trend in betting on just about everything. You can securitize everything, and you can bet on everything.
Yeah,
you have it.
That's a hell of a list. The one thing that's glaring to me, and it probably was on your list for 2023, is the word recession. We kept hearing that coming out of 2023 into 2024, the second half of the year or the last quarter. We're going to start to see recession or recessionary environments. Not on your list. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, we ask our readers every 2 months, what are the things you're most worried about? Give us your top 10 concerns. Recession never made it past the top 5. What were they worried about? First, they were worried about interest rates. Then they had worries about geopolitical concerns because we had the war in Russia and Ukraine. We had the war in the Middle East. Then they were worried about the election, not necessarily the outcome of the election, but the political chaos that might have ensued if things went a certain way. We knew that was top of mind for them. And then it became things like the U.S. relations with China. But recession never got to them. They never felt like that was going to happen, even though that was a big threat. They felt like there were other things that were going to affect their portfolios. But from about June, July on until the rest of the year, when the Fed indicated that it would start lowering rates, risk was on big time, and the stock market basically took off and went into high gear, and they got very confident. They're as confident as we've seen them in the history of the time we've been surveying them right now, for obvious reasons. Stock markets at all-time highs, risk assets at all-time highs, the prospect of lower interest rates and less regulation. Green lights, guys.
So what about expectations for 2025?
Yeah, expectations for 2025, it looks like this. We asked them, what do you think the results will be in the stock market over the next 6 months? And then what do you think they will be going out the next 4 years? What it amounts to is that investors think the next 6 months are going to be really strong. Short-term returns are going to continue to be strong. After that, they are less confident about returns in the market. Now, why is that? They're concerned about the national debt, which is something nobody likes to talk about, but the fact that we're just printing more and more money, spending more and more money, and if we do have tariffs and we do have tax cuts, one is inflationary and one reduces the amount of revenue that the government is able to keep. They think that will impact their portfolios over time in the long term. But for the short term, they're in full sprint mode right now, and you can just see it in the behavior of individual investors and the markets themselves.
When we get to the end of 2025, do you think Nvidia will still be on the top of that list, or do you think we'll see another company?
I think we'll probably see another company. Right?
Which one?
2023 and 2024 were the years of the build out for AI. Look at the amazing amount of money that the Alphabets, the Amazons, the Apples of the world, Salesforce, everybody is spending on AI. It's a zero-sum game. So that favors the chip builders. That favors the equipment builders. Look at Broadcom, look at the other chip makers that are building the infrastructure and the chips that are going to power AI supercomputing. And it benefits the energy companies. But look at the companies that have done super well just associated with both the AI build out and Bitcoin, the MicroStrategies of the world, right? The super micros of the world. These are the companies that have now dominated in terms of returns and in terms of investor interest. I think we'll see one of those types of companies at the top of the list, or a company like a Palantir, which is in the top 10 now of our investors' favorite holdings. We might see a company like that, which has got a lot of contracts with the government.
Yeah, you want to? Yeah, we looked at statistics based, obviously knowing the outcome of the election now. When the Republicans have cleaned the Washington sweep, right? They control the House, they control Senate. We've seen sectors perform really well. The top three being real estate, utilities, and energies. Going into 2025, knowing the sectors, are there ETFs that you're looking at saying, like, these are the ones that our users should be looking forward to if they're trying to begin in the investing journey?
Well, here are the top stocks investors would bet on for the next 10 years. See Nvidia at the top of the list. But then when we ask him, what ETF would you buy and hold for the next 10 years? Guess what, guys? Investors like running with the herd. Individual investors like running with the herd with everybody else. So they're looking at things like the VTO. They're looking at the SPYs. They're looking at the Qs, the total stock market ETFs. We like to crowd together, right? If you see the most crowded trades in 2024, it was the Nvidia trade, right? It was a crypto trade. It was the MicroStrategies, the super microcomputers of the world, the Mag 7, Mag 8 stocks still performing. But when you look at ETFs, we like to stick together with the biggest stocks and the biggest indexes. These are the ETFs they would buy and hold. But look at the chip sector ETF. SOX is on there, right? Some of the Bitcoin ETFs had a pretty good year, and I think people see a lot of viability in those going forward. So big year for ETFs. And guess what? The ETF industry, they're gearing up for the next $10 trillion in assets, because there's an ETF for everything right now, but just not enough for that industry. They're going to keep printing ETFs, and that should be really interesting to see over the next year to 5 years.
It's interesting that you said the consumer confidence as far as the rising debt. Ian, you gonna make it?
Hopefully. Fine.
I was watching Jamie Foxx and Snoop. They had a clip when he was talking about Trump. And he was like, this was like years ago. He was like, they gave me the virus.
They tried.
they tried to give me the virus.
Ian just works too hard. That's his problem.
True.
But that, connecting the dots, that's what, all right. So they might be bearish on stocks, but I'm wondering how the sentiment is around crypto, because one of the things that Mike Novogratz said, as far as one of the catalysts that would be good for Bitcoin is a rising debt, because since it is, a hedge against inflation and alternative to the dollar, he thought that gold and Bitcoin would benefit from the national debt going up higher. Yeah. So do you see that optimism for Bitcoin works parallel to pessimism of the stock market?
I think risk on is what benefits Bitcoin in general. I don't think most individual investors make the correlation between a higher national debt, more government spending, more reticence from the biggest buyers of the 10-year U.S. Treasury, which is the most widely held asset on the planet, turning into more excitement about Bitcoin. I think the Bitcoin crowd, the people that understand it most, really get that the best. But what we have been asking our readers for the past several years is, would you consider exposing, your portfolio to more cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin? What would it take? Well, last year we had the introduction of the spot Bitcoin ETFs. That opened the market. We saw what happened to price then. And then we asked them, as Bitcoin, got near 100,000, would you consider buying Bitcoin now? Would you consider having it in your portfolio? Those numbers went from about 9% of our readers to about 25% of our readers. So it just tells you there's a lot of individual investor enthusiasm with Bitcoin. But as we learned last week and at the EYL podcast, a lot of people are still learning the basics of it. And when we look at the questions people ask around Bitcoin, they're asking things like, first of all, what is? Second of all, how do I buy? Third of all, what's the difference between Bitcoin, say, and Ripple, Robinhood, or Coinbase? They want to know what it is, and they want to know how to buy it, and they want to know which ones to buy. So this tells you there's still a lot of new investors that have no exposure to this. They've been hearing about it for long enough. They've heard their Aunt Jane ask them about it at the Thanksgiving table year after year after year. They haven't done anything about it. Guess what? they're ready to do something about it. And we know the supply is constrained, and we know that this government is very Bitcoin friendly. So I expect a lot more price increase probably for Bitcoin in the near term. We'll see how long that lasts. The other coins is what I'm concerned about, because Bitcoin, you know, has proven itself to be a real asset that's now $1.5 trillion in market cap. The other coins, the meme coins, are the ones people flock to because they think they can make a quick buck. Those are usually ones where the bottom comes out quickly.
I'm pretty sure Bitcoin will do probably at least 100% return next year. I know you said Nvidia probably won't be on that list for next year. Do you think Nvidia prints sub 100% gain? It's crazy to even say that, but do you think they'll be in the normal range next year of like 40 to 80%?
And the fact that you say that's normal, Ian, is the crazy part.
It's insane, right? For them,
that's the crazy part. The crazy thing is that would actually be normal for us, like a normal return. But the reality is, we don't even know. There's so much enthusiasm behind that stock. Now, a lot of it was the only game in town for printing these chips that can power the AI servers and the supercenters, right? They have some competition now. And as I said, it's a zero-sum game with these companies. So they're going to spend as much as they absolutely need to, NVIDIA's customers, to get the infrastructure they need to control AI the way they want to. I don't see why it doesn't continue to do better. But the fact that this company can grow revenue 100%, right, year over year, for several years in a row now, how long can that be sustainable? We haven't even seen this Blackwell chip come out, so I have a feeling it could grow revenue and profits again next year meaningfully, and that could translate to a higher stock price, especially with a cheaper stock price given the split. The value is the same, it just appears cheaper, and that's very important for the psyche of individual investors. Price tag means a lot.
There's a word that hopefully is not on the 2025 list, but it's starting to come up in the news when we talk about inflation, and that word is stagflation. Can you break down what that is and why we should be worried about that?
Yeah, you don't want stagflation. That is not a boring bachelor party with Tom Hanks. That is when both prices are going down and unemployment is rising and the economy is slowing. So you don't want a decrease in prices at the same time you have a slowing economy and more people going out of work. That is a very bad sign. Usually it leads to a recession. Usually it leads to a pretty brutal recession. We want to avoid stagflation. We want to avoid disinflation. And believe it or not, a little inflation is actually good. The average inflation rate is 2.7% a year. You need a little inflation for pricing power. Companies need to be able to raise prices a little bit so they can pay their workers more, so we can go spend more money, and that's how the wheel goes round. You don't want stagflation, you don't want disinflation. A little bit Goldilocks inflation would be just right.
So what's the demographics of the people that use Investopedia as far as like age?
Yeah, well,
stuff like that.
18 to 80, as a rapper would say, 8 to 80. No, our demographics are, I would say, the preponderance are about 40 to 45 years old, right? Mostly male, 65% male, individual investors who are self-directed with $100,000 in assets or more to invest. So this is an engaged investor that has money to put to work and likes doing it.
So, okay, that's interesting. Only 9% was invested in crypto. I'm sure artificial intelligence was something that people, correlated with investments. Now we hear about quantum computing. Is quantum computing stocks, are people trying to look for quantum computing stocks yet, or they're still not there yet?
I think that's still fringe for most individual investors, right? Most individual investors catch up from time to time with what's going on, and they get into popular names. The popular names were Nvidia, MicroStrategy because of the Bitcoin of it all. But you know how it is. It's very rare. Like you guys trade actively, and Ian, I know you're an active trader, and through the club as well. You're making decisions and you're making tactical moves on a semi-regular basis. Not every single day per se, but you do that. Most individual investors, you know what we do? Every 2 weeks, we put our money into the market. Every 2 weeks, we put our money into the market. And if you ask a man or woman, what's your allocation? If you change your allocation, most people are going to be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So they buy the market, they buy a target date fund, or they buy a VTO or VOO or SPY or the Qs, and they just feed that every 2 weeks. And that is the relentless bid that just keeps this stock market going higher and higher. Ian, Troy, Rashad, there's been dips this year of 2-3%, but that's it. We have never seen a daily dip beyond 2% that wasn't bought up the next day. Why is that?
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to miss out on this relentless bid higher, and that's why the stock market keeps grinding higher.
I know you got your top 10 terms for the year, but is there one that you think that's going to be incredibly important for next year for everyone to look out for?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bitcoin is going to be on this list again next year, and I think the money line bet is going to be on this list. This is the first year sports betting, politics betting, stock trading, it all kind of mashed together into the same stream. And I think it's just the beginning of the betting of just about everything. This is a betting culture that we live in, right? Especially young men. They love to bet on just about everything. I think the money line bet and all sort of sports betting that molds into stock trading, I think these were distant cousins that used to show up at the same barbecue. Now I think that they're much closely related. I think we'll see that again. But if these tariffs come to pass, or even some of them come to pass, and they lead to an inflationary environment, which could potentially tip towards a recession, I think you'll see those terms popping a lot as well. It's going to be a very interesting year on the geopolitical front with a new administration, with some aggressive policies, both outward and inward. So we're going to probably get a whole new swath of words we haven't even thought of that we'll probably have to write definitions for.
How engaged politically are people as far as looking up terms like not just tariffs, but sanctions or embargo or stuff like that? Like
100%.
Is that part of it?
The journey of people coming through Investopedia is fascinating. They may start with a term like inflation, but what they really want to know is, and what they wanted to know going into the election was, which president had the highest rate of inflation, right? What's the average rate of inflation? What does inflation do to a stock portfolio over time? So they want there's an answer, there's a question beyond the question they actually asked to get to us in the first place. Following that reader journey is completely fascinating. So when people look up tariffs, they also look up Smoot. And they also look up Taft-Hartley. They look up the origins of these tariffs. They look up how many tariffs or the dollar amount of tariffs we have right now, which countries pay the highest, which countries pay the lowest, what products and goods are being exposed to it, and what's the ultimate impact both on their wallets and on their portfolio. So they always want to know something beyond the thing they came in through the side door on, and that's the fascinating thing to watch. That's why we love looking at these terms of the year.
Caleb, there's a term that I've been speaking about for the past 6 months, and it's pretty much over the news, and that's data centers. It wasn't on your list, but I'm sure that, it's going to play a role. Can you talk about the significance of it? We kind of alluded to it a little bit the other night, the role it plays inside of cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin. Obviously, the role it plays inside of AI. What are your thoughts around people not finding that to be one of the top 10 words or words?
Yeah, data center is a piece of real estate, really. But what is it actually? It's actually a processing center for our data, which is the currency of the 21st century. It used to be, railroads. It used to be telecom, but now it's data. Our data is everything to marketers. Our data is everything for AI. So I was saying on the other night on the UIL pod, when you're driving across country, you're flying across country, and you see those warehouses below you all around the airports and all across America right now, half of those are fulfillment centers, bringing us our whatever we ordered the next day or that same day from Amazon, Target, Walmart, what have you. The other half are data centers processing those orders and processing AI. When you look at companies like a Blackstone, right, one of the biggest real estate firms in the world, what have they been buying aggressively for the past 3 to 4 years? Data centers, warehouses, so they can put more data centers in them across America and across Europe. You basically can't even buy one anymore because they've bought them all up. So data centers is where the processing of this most valuable currency is happening. And I think that is the trend for the next decade beyond.
Okay. So before we leave, what you studied the situation. How do you feel about the U.S. economy in your own personal opinion? Like, do you think that, because we're at the top of everything as far as prices when it comes to Nasdaq, S&P 500, everything is at an all-time high, Bitcoin. Do you think that we're due for a pullback, a recession, or we're just going to keep going up?
I think we're in this position right now, and it's really been for the last decade plus, maybe 20 years, where there is no moral hazard, right? Anytime we get into economic choppiness, anytime we get into stock market choppiness, what happens? We get bailed out in some way, shape, or form. But who gets the benefit of the bailout? Asset holders, stockholders, property owners, right? We have a K-shaped economy where if you own stocks, if you own your home, if you own a business, if you own real estate, you're doing fine. And anytime it looks like we're on shaky ground, guess what? Somebody floors interest rates, makes money cheap again. They dump money over in the economy like helicopter money. That bails out businesses. Sometimes that can be very beneficial. We needed it during the early days of the pandemic, but we never worry about what happens on the other side of that. And I don't know if we ever will, especially with this administration, because they're going to do whatever they can to keep this economy humming, or at least the headline numbers humming and the stock market humming. Nobody likes to brag more about the performance of the stock market than the incoming president, even though presidents don't have a lot to do with the performance of the stock market. I think they're going to not let anything happen that would feel like bad headlines for several months in a row. They got to, the first 2 years are about delivering on the promise. The next 2 years are going to be about trying to get somebody back in office from that party. So I don't feel like we're going to see the top. Now, I want to also eat a little bit of crow. Last year, we did the same thing. You asked me what I thought my expectations were going to be for the stock market for 2024. And I said, good years follow great years. It's rare to have a great year follow a great year. I was wrong. And I wasn't the only one. Every Wall Street strategist, and I'm not one of them, was wrong. Every one of them had to raise their targets on the S&P 500 because the relentless bid took everything higher, and about 10 profitable, ultra profitable companies that became trillion, $2 trillion, $3 trillion market cap companies just lifted everything up. So I was wrong. We had a great year after a great year. 3 in a row would be unbelievable, but anything's possible these days. So I'm not going to make a prediction on the market, but I am going to stay invested. I'm going to stay long, and I'm going to keep buying what I think are the best companies and the best ETFs out there, because I got a long time to go before I stop investing.
We're almost halfway through this decade, which is crazy how time flies. What's your biggest lesson that you've learned or relearned in this half decade?
Yeah. I don't know as much as I think I do, and I got to keep learning, but I also know that I can't time anything. Timing the market is dangerous. My time in the market is super valuable. Ask anybody that looked at their portfolio in June of this year and that's been invested in the stock market and looked at it now. They can't believe the returns, and that's what's happened to me time in and time out. Stay invested. I do rebalance, right? I do reallocate when I feel like the economic winds are shifting. I do those things, and I've been exposing myself to riskier and riskier assets, but not more than 5% of my portfolio. I have been right in doing that, and it hasn't taken me any genius thinking to do it. I just kept persistently investing and not doubting the fact that eventually things were going to keep returning to the mean, and they did twice as good as that. So I'm going to stay involved, stay in it, but also realize that anything could happen and prepare for the unforeseen, but don't pull out of the market, because I think we're headed towards something that's, I haven't seen before.
There you have it. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Always value your opinion for sure.
Thank you for having me, guys. Always a pleasure. Thanks to you all. Have great holidays, and thanks for sharing the platform. I appreciate you.
Oh, my brother. Appreciate you.
Brother, see you soon.
Okay. Great job from Caleb.
Good dude, man. Good dude. Solid dude, man.
For sure.
Always. Yeah. One of my favorite people.
Yeah.
Sure.
This is a wealth of knowledge, man.
All right. Well,
will NFTs make a comeback?
I don't know.
Now, if I see BlackRock get into the NFT market, boy, we moving.
I'll let you know that.
We gotta ask Gary V, John Henry, a few people that was very NFT advocates,
proponents.
So maybe they're actually working on something on the underground, because these things do work in cycles. It's like fashion, because altcoins died, then they came back.
Yeah.
So maybe it's going to have a resurgence and go up 400%. Maybe out the blue.
Well, the Pudgy Penguins are moving. They're moving like crazy right now.
Yeah.
No, it started to come back. NFT started to come back. I mean, they're not at prominence level like they were 3 years ago.
I think the average price was down 97%, but some of them, it's still $10,000 to get one of them crypto bunnies or whatever, kitties or whatever they call it.
Got you.
Still a lot. 10,000 is a lot.
That's crazy. Y'all need to put some of them NFTs on OnlyFans, since Rashad told me that they're doing a $3,000 Zoom call. Y'all some freaks, boy. Y'all talking to a crypto bunny for $3,000, yo.
They had the top 10. I'll send it to y'all. Y'all maybe on Black. The top 10 earners on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy. It's
some
like
of them
43, 48. What?
I ain't mad. Shout out to y'all who doing it and get $115 a year, though. You know what I mean?
What do you have more faith in, the US dollar or Bitcoin?
Bitcoin for sure. Just because the banks and Vanguard and BlackRock in their own investment are investing more to Bitcoin than they are to US dollar. I think with the value of the dollar since 1920 has dropped, what, 98%? And if you, man, I never thought as a kid some of the things that just the cost of things would be where they are now. I keep saying, like, in major cities, I'm seeing 2 bedrooms go for $6,000.
Mm-hmm.
At least.
Yeah.
It says a lot about the times that we're in.
Nasty work.
Absolutely.
But, you know, hey, what can you do? You go to youdeservetoberich.book.com for the next 48 hours. We are running a promo for anybody that buys the pre-order. The last one that we're doing, you will get access to a video that Troy did a few months ago talking about how he uses artificial intelligence to pick stock options and charting, how to actually.
That's a crazy, but I don't mean to cut. That's a crazy, but like, that's worth a couple thousand. Like when he showed that on stage, I was like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You was like Tom Cruise, a Minority Report.
It was. Like, the crazy part is, before I went up there, I called you. I'm like, yo, I think I'm gonna give him this today. And you were like, you looked at me like, you sure? I'm like, yeah. I don't think I've ever heard anybody use it like this. And you were like, well, damn. I was like,
work of art. Work of art. Yep.
So let's do it. And then we're going on tour. Book tour. 5 days. Special guests. We going to Houston. We going to New Orleans. We going to Brooklyn. We going to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. And DC.
And we're gonna have a special guest at each city. So tap in, get your tickets to that. Price of admission is the price of a book, so pretty low barrier of entry. And you get a book too. So if you buy a ticket, when you come, you get a book.
Yeah.
So that's like, you get a book if you buy a ticket.
Yeah, sign it up for you, take a picture or two. You know how it's go.
That's fire.
It's a lot going on. It's a lot of drones. We talk about that on Blackout, but it's a lot of
drone situation.
It's a drone
crazy.
Activity. It's a lot. It's a lot that's happening in the world lately, for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
On a personal note, are there any creators that you've seen that have done a great job this year outside of Casanat, or you want to keep that close to the chest? I'm not mad if you do.
Creators.
Yeah,
Speedy. He's been
Speed. He
Speedy.
actually,
both of them. Speedy from Complex.
Speedy's killing. Speedy's killing.
And Speed, the streamer.
He won Streamer of the Year.
They doing their numbers. I still don't understand streaming, but I respect it. So of course, Casanat. Of course, it's crazy how, because when we did InvestFest at that point in time, the number one person of the year was Shannon Sharp.
Mm-hmm.
And 4 months later, now Kai Cenat is the number one person of the year. So things can change. Nobody even remembers Cat Williams' situation anymore. So
the remnants of that is still lingering.
I mean, yeah, for sure. But I'm just saying that's how quickly things change.
Time changes, yeah.
Shannon Sharp had I say that to say people forget the year that Shannon Sharp had. Shannon Sharp had a hell of a year.
Hell of a year, bro.
He probably would be number one in media. Would you think?
I think Kai Cenat.
Kai just
that Mafia-thon legend.
Mafia-thon did it. Yep.
Mafia-thon 2 was hard. He just came back to streaming yesterday.
And
shout out to Kai.
He actually changed the whole entire landscape of how artists do things. So Kai Cenat, Speed, Shannon Sharp.
We gotta give a shout out to our guy, Lethal Shooter. He's killing it out here, man.
Lethal Shooter,
he's cooking.
He's hot.
I understand it now.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Drewski,
the gummy bear, like all the tricks is amazing.
Oh man, I understand
the
it.
Gummy bear and a water bottle.
That was ridiculous. That might be the most ridiculous I've
off
seen.
1 foot,
backwards, sitting down.
But we also gotta give a shout out to our guy that we had at InvestFest that we interviewed, also, who gave us the sneak peek of what he was going to do. Stephen A. Smith, and he told us this months ago that he was going to be up for his new contract. We talked about and then so now they talking about $120 million contract. So shout out to Stephen A.
The writing was on the wall.
He's doing his numbers. He's doing his numbers. There's a lot of people that
he putting up numbers for sure.
That's doing good out there. But those are some of the top people that kind of changed the game. Drewski, like I said, he's changing the game from comedy standpoint.
If Kanye did streaming next year, how big you think the numbers would be?
If Kanye did streaming?
Yeah.
Is Kanye a streamer? Like, you got to be a personality. You got to have a certain personality to talk for 24 hours or 3 hours. Like, it's not easy. That's a lot of impromptu stuff. And I was even, because I'm talking to one of my friends who's younger, and I'm like, yo, explain to me this consonant thing. And he's like, yo, when I do the Mafia-thon, like they come up with different game ideas. It's like it's thought out. It's not just get in front of the camera and just wing it. But I don't watch it, so I don't know.
I watched
it.
I watched it. Shout out to my young boys. These are the thing about Kai. Like these are young kids from the Bronx. So like one of my students is part of that crew. So
yeah, remember you told me that. Yep.
Yeah. I texted him after Mafia-thon. I was just like, yo, just keep going, bro. Like I love it. He was actually on my basketball team. But they're innovative. Like that thought process that they have to come up with skits and come up with ideas and have people pull up. I saw Speed say he want to get in contact with Elon. He said at some point he wants to stream from outer space.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, they're young, they're innovative, and they're willing to do whatever. Like streaming is their life. So I mean, it is a skill. I watched a few. I saw the Chris Brown. I saw the Kyrie joint. Them dudes are skilled, man. And what he's doing and the team that's around him right now.
For that long?
Yo, it's
why
tough.
hasn't Netflix thrown a bag of one of them yet?
Maybe they have.
And haven't announced it.
Yeah,
because I'm like, that would go perfect with the NFL and I mean, I know WWE is a big thing, but 2 nights a week with Kai.
Can you imagine Mafia-thon 3 being on a streaming platform? Like it's gonna go crazy.
Numbers through the roof.
Yeah, it's gonna go crazy.
A couple billion added to the market cap.
Yeah,
Mafia. So you got to be thinking of 2025 diversification.
Shout out to Kai. Shout out to the Bronx.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kai. But yeah, there's a lot of people that's doing their thing out there in the content space. You know, just see Weezy and Mandy. They rebranded their situation.
Decisions. Yep.
Yeah. PLTR.
They got a new vibe. Of course, you know, Drink Champ. Shout out to Drink Champ. You know, Nori and DJ FN. That's the family. Joe Budden, he's doing his thing. The Joe Budden podcast. Charlemagne, still the most powerful person in the culture when it comes to media.
For sure.
That's a fact. So, yeah.
And he got show sign in perpetuity plus 1 life. You know what I mean?
Plus 1.
Hopefully he got show sign.
Hopefully, boy. Hopefully he missed that cash cow. I got to put everybody on papers now.
That's a fact. All right,
y'all. We be good to each other. Love is love. Share the information. Make some money. Happy birthday, Amy. Shout out to Amy. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Amy.
And happy birthday to our guy Jibo. Greg Barnett was his birthday. And Paulie, happy birthday to y'all twins. Touch 50, man. I watch people. I'm like, yo, man, 50 looking good for 50. Like the room just look good.
Salute to SP too and Kiss. It was
914.
Crazy when I went to the show. Shout out to the Locks, Style, Chic, and Jadakiss. And I went to the show and I was backstage. I was actually on the side of the stage as the show was going on.
Jacket tough too, by the way. I mean, I know you know what I mean, but
appreciate it. So, but I was talking and I was having conversations with. It was kind of a crazy situation because during the show, they like Kiss was like, "Yo, Rashad, come here," and we talked. Well, that's for off-camera conversation. But I was talking to Styles during the show. I'm talking to him, and he's like, "Yo, bro, I'm 50, bro." She's like, "Yo, I can't believe I made it this far, man." Like, yo,
so crazy, bro.
He's like, "Yo, I can't
Styles
believe
a different person now from what he was from Gangsta and the Gentleman.
Yeah,
that's a fact. He like, yo, I can't believe. He's like, yo, I can't believe this shit, bro. He's like, I'm like, yo, bro, like, damn, you a mid-age man, like you like.
This shit is wild.
Damn near almost a senior citizen. And he's like, yo, it's just bugged the fuck out.
That shit is wild. Like we watched these dudes our whole lives.
But shout out to them because, like I said, that just shows their longevity to still be able to pack a show out and have 50 Cent come and Benny the Butcher, Rakim.
How old is Rakim? He gotta be like 56,
like 60.
60.
If they 50,
let me Google.
Yeah, he gotta be 58 at least.
He came out in the 80s.
87.
They came out in the 90s.
86 is actually Rakim.
So Rakim gotta be at least, if not 60, close to 60 for sure.
Rakim is 56 years old.
That's like Jay-Z's age.
That's what I'm saying. We don't look at them the same. Like
That's his rapper age, or
nah, look. It says,
but a lot of them dudes came out young, like
yeah.
LL Cool J came out when he was like 14,
Young.
15 years old.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Rakim.
like
born in
nowadays, these
68.
dudes get they start at 28 years old.
Or start in their 30s. Rick Ross in their 30s.
Yeah, but them
2
dudes-
Chainz 30s.
2 Chainz, yeah.
But yeah, 56 because Jay is like 55, right?
LL is 56.
How old is Jay?
I
They're the
think
same
James turned 54. He might be 56. I think he just has his birthday was
I don't think 56.
55.
He like about like 54.
That'd be 55. They're the same.
55.
the same
55. He's 68 and
So him and Rakim is the same age.
nah, he
That's
just turned
crazy.
55 December 4th.
And Rakim 56.
Yeah, but
So they
he's
won
turning
it.
57.
They 1 year apart.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. But I'm saying him and we never look at him and LL as the same age because LL came out in 86,
Yeah.
Jay came out in 96. LL was 16 though, and like he's been like people were asking me like, yo, do you think LL is true when he's talking about he's the most important artist in the history of hip hop? That's an argument, but the time frame
One
is crazy.
of, though.
Yeah, he is, but he is right. Like he has an argument for like being a solo artist, what he meant to the most important label in hip hop,
Longevity.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to diversify. He's super important, but like, yo, they're the same age, bro. And we look at him like a super old school, but I guess people now look at Jay, like the young boys now, like, yo, Jay, like he old. That's for y'all.
Yeah.
But shout out to JoJo, shout out to Mike for the hospitality. I appreciate it, the hospitality. Yeah, that was a great show. That they had Benny the Butcher, they had Ghostface. He came out.
Oh, he wasn't even on the bill.
Ghostface.
Yeah,
I think he was.
Word?
Yeah, 50. I think I said 50 came out.
Yeah.
So man, I was talking to Style. I'm like, yo, how you go? He's like, yo, just like any other business, bro, relationships. So
They 50.
Right.
Shout out to Kiss, man. We got we'll be at the school. I'll probably see him at school on Friday.
Salute to Kiss. You know, I never met Sheik. That's weird. It's a weird situation.
Never?
You never met Sheik?
Nah, it's a weird situation.
That's crazy.
Because Styles, Kiss, you know, even like at that time, like he just so happened to be at the other side of the stage, so I didn't get a chance to. Like,
still you didn't meet him?
Yeah, I've never met him before. That's crazy.
I met him a few times.
It's just a weird because I'm like I've always kissed Styles, and but Sheik just be chilling.
Shout out to Luch.
Oh, Academics had a good year too. Shout out to Academics.
Oh yeah. Ack led that whole Drake Kendrick thing.
Kendrick.
Yeah.
And more.
Nah. Let's do this.
No, Glass is more different, yo.
Glass is dope. Shout out to DJ Head. Shout out to DJ Head.
DJ Head had a great
we
year,
was rocking with. We was rocking with DJ.
Head
We was rocking with DJ Head prior to all this. So to see this year happen for him.
When we first met DJ Head, I don't think he was there. DJ Sus One, shout out to him.
I was there. We went up to the station.
You was there?
Of course.
What Mike?
Yeah. So that's a whole nother thing.
We that's when we first met him, probably
2000
10 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, like 17.
But he was like, yo, DJ Head. Like I think Mike Head was like fucking with him, something, I don't know. But that was 10 years ago. So to see his growth from 10 years to now has been because he was working a night shift, 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, we was up there. We got to the station late hours.
Yeah. So shout out to DJ Head. He representing the West Coast on another level.
He's killing it too. Him and obviously the show Elliot and Jeremy, they killing it. Then he got the other show effective immediately, and now like I see him popping up on DJ sets everywhere. So he's a smart dude. Paid his dues, stayed true to the coast, and now he's
full of integrity.
Bro, he's like the general now. They gotta, you know what I mean? If he don't stamp it, it ain't official. So shout out.
Yeah, we gotta get him on blackout
for sure.
Yeah,
he's had a hell of a year.
All right, guys, it's been real.
Love is love. Peace.